Smokey Dollar, thank you so much for coming to sit down with me today. Joseph Bills tonight, y'all.
Max out. I appreciate you, bro. What an intro, man.
You know? How you doing today? A hand for Kid K. Comedian left Killer Sire. How you doing, sir? Hey, my man, yo, Fela Indio. Am I saying your name right, bro? Am I saying your name right? I always like to make sure. Terrell. See, give it up for Mikey Moscato. That dude. The guy, ladies and gentlemen. Quality the Goose. The sugar. Mr. Network. Let's start with LRTK. Zona.
Good evening. This is Swerve 360.
Now, this is Swerve 36. Old Granddad, Big Butch the Lesbian, Walter Cronwright, Dan Rather, Smoke Weed, Dirty Harry, Lee X the Theater. That's me. And that's what we do here. Please, if you could come all the way around to the far corner. Djpest, Ira Denard on Facebook. The government. Here he is. Let me give him a big round of applause. Djpest. Let me turn on your mic. That might work better. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
With the official bucket.
Yeah.
I appreciate the bucket. My wife, I got a polo bucket. It's Wild Spring colors, and my wife doesn't let me wear it, but that's just the honesty. I love a good bucket. I'm still looking for one that my wife will let me wear. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good.
I am honored. First and foremost, I'm honored that you came in.
I was going to come. I had to come.
I know. Well, I'm glad you came in. You know, Certified Savage 411 show. Everybody over here is, fighting for. We're not fighting, but everybody's over here clamoring for guests, and you're one of the biggest guests in the city, and I'm glad to have you on.
I'm honored for you even to say that.
Fuck that side. I got you on, so that's what we're going with. No, it's all love. We got a lot of love, and I've said from the beginning, there's plenty of room out here for all us podcasters. I lead in the example of the great Joe Rogan and Joe Budden, all the Joes, and we're trying to put on a good show. And we have really great guests, and I think the media has been lacking from the Phoenix area. So all of a sudden, we have this big explosion of media. It's the cool new thing to do. But at the end of the day, I think it's a great thing, and I'm happy that everybody's involved.
Yeah.
And the people that aren't dedicated will fall away, so that's fine. That's good. You know, enjoy it while you're in here doing it. You have a radio station.
Yeah. U-Choice Radio.
U-Choice Radio. And that's quite an endeavor. That's quite. And let me give you a few more flowers before we get into talking about that. When I first got to Phoenix, you. Patrice from Sincerely Soulful, a few others were huge inspirations. Your work ethic is incredible. People appreciate my work ethic. It's people like you that I follow and I look up to as far as work ethic. I have a 4-year-old son I balance. I don't know. Do you have kids?
I have a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 6-month-old.
So you have a lot of kids and a very young child.
Yes.
So I have no reason to be doing less than you. You have more children than me. I have a 22-year-old and a 4-year-old. So it's great, man. I really appreciate how hard you work with the video graphics, the events, the radio show, with everything you had going on. What prompted you to start a radio station? Not just a show, not just Djpest, blowing his own horn, but an entire station with other people involved. Well,
when I was back home in Michigan, I was a part of a show called the Friday Night Cypher. It's saying it sounds crazy now because it's so far removed, but in high school, I was there. Big Sean was there. That's the song Friday Night Cypher was talking about the show that we used to do every Friday.
Incredible. Okay.
Yeah. So when I moved out here, I had opportunities to work with radio stations because I had quit the radio station I was working with back home in Michigan, and I didn't like how things were going where the DJs weren't treated a way they should be, getting their flowers. No pun intended.
Right. No.
So I wanted to start something for those DJs to have an opportunity to have an outlet because I saw the frustration in those DJs. So that's how I started the radio station, and the radio station is I wanted to be a commercial-based radio station. So it's we could take money from Myers and Meyer, Walmart, thank you, and all these other stores, but I want to do it to where the people that's in our community can advertise and stuff like that
as well.
And there's a lot of people on there from all over the country.
Well, you got one of my favorites, Dos Muchos, on there.
Yeah, Dos Muchos is my man, yo.
Yeah, I really like Dos Muchos. His vibe and the way he DJs and the way he freely, just gets on and plays mixes and records at any given time of day. Whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, I like Dos Muchos a lot. I met Dos Muchos just by saying I was looking for DJs. Mm-hmm. I don't even think I'm still trying to meet him.
Oh, y'all may have not met in person yet.
I've never shook Dos Muchos' hand.
Yeah.
I know he's at the events that that y'all do.
He's done some quite a few Respect Underground events.
Yeah, but I can never get to where he's at and like, yo, what up?
Right.
Yeah.
What moved you to Arizona from Detroit?
I wanted to go to California and I wanted to go to New York, but I had a 2-year-old at the time. I just didn't feel like it was going to be cost. It's going to be in my pockets. So
two very expensive places to live without getting into details.
Yeah, it's expensive. And somebody, gave me an idea saying, hey, if you stay in Phoenix, then you'll be close to, California, LA, and you'll be close to Vegas, and drive. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, I'll pick here. And it's the best choice I made. I love it here.
Well, the cost of living is great, and we are so close to outlets like Vegas and LA, and so that makes it good. Yeah, the cost of living is really great to be on the West Coast with the weather, and it's a good thing. There's a lot of opportunity here, job wise, basic job wise. Yeah. I think they're paying felons $20 an hour to work in a warehouse, which I don't even think they're hiring felons in Virginia. No. So it's just a different situation, and aside from the weather, I think that's what makes things great, is that there is opportunities.
There's so much opportunity out here.
And it's like, it goes back to the old saying, people don't really want to do wrong as long as they have a decent choice to do right. And I think there's a lot of decent choices to do right out here. Yeah. And it's, to me, it seems very relaxed in comparison to Richmond, Virginia. Do you feel that way?
In comparison to Detroit, Michigan, yes. It's a lot more relaxed out here.
Now, if we were both from Detroit, would you say you're from Detroit or are you from a surrounding area? I know
I'm from Detroit,
you're
Michigan.
From real Detroit.
Yeah, I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Big Doobie, I know, is one of your artists.
Yeah.
And you started working with Big Doobie. That's a real Detroit connection.
Yeah, and that's even a funny story. I met him at a showcase. We don't know each other from back home.
Right. Right. Well, Big Doobie, I interviewed him on the show, and he sounded like his growing up in Detroit was very localized.
Yeah. He's Detroit official.
Yeah.
It's just that
he gave
our
the
timing.
streets. Yeah. And I always ask, because according to Rude Jude, I know sometimes Detroit people, much like me, I say Richmond when I'm out of, but did I live in the actual city limits of Richmond? No, okay. I lived in the suburbs, but nobody knows where Henrico, Virginia is. So I say Richmond. I think Detroit people do that too.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I ask, are you really from, because there is a difference to truly be from Detroit.
It's a big difference. Yeah.
Or to be from the surrounding areas. Are you familiar with Dane Russell? He's another great artist that's originally from Detroit. He's R&B guy.
It sounds familiar, but I can't say I know him personally.
I would say what is in the water in Detroit, but that would be a terrible use of words.
That's Flint. That's not
us. I know. That's bad. What is in the water in Detroit? Why is it so? I was talking with the guys from Rochester, New York. The last artist, Bro God, was from Rochester. And I believe I have an opinion that Rochester and Buffalo are feeling the effects of being neglected by New York, and now they're getting their time maybe to shine.
Sure.
As we all felt neglected by New York at a certain time and pace. But it seemed like when Detroit really started to explode, it exploded. And now it just seems like it's so much talent. What is that, because they've been neglected for a while? Why do you think there's so much talent that comes from New York?
I mean, because we had Madonna. We had Kid Rock.
You didn't get credit for Madonna, though. She came up in New York, and she had to really, you had to be a fan, right, to know that.
Right. But because even Aaliyah, you know what I'm saying? Aaliyah went to Detroit, schooling.
Oh, okay.
But she's not from Detroit. But since you went to that school, we're
gonna claim you. Detroit's gonna claim you.
Yeah, but it was just about timing. I think right now, the industry just allowed. Maybe the internet had a lot to help with it. But I remember being here and hearing T Grizzly first day out here. Yeah. But back home, that's been in circulation.
Right. Right. I get that. Listening to Rude Jude, who's my Detroit connection, and cool white guy, so I trust his word. But he plays and talks about artists regularly that are not nationally known. that are big in Detroit?
Because we keep it. Detroit has a sound, and moving to the West Coast, I've understood now that Detroit and the Bay Area sound just alike. I don't know who started that first.
Okay,
but Detroit has enough. It has enough going for itself where it can stay there. People can get rich by just doing what they're doing in Detroit and Ohio, or Michigan and Ohio.
Okay, that's the impression I got, which was the way on the East Coast we always thought of California artists. They can just make enough money in California. They don't have to. It's nice to be national, but you don't have to. You can make a living in California.
Yeah, but I say like the internet. We didn't have the internet. You know, and I'm speaking 10, 15 years ago. We didn't have the internet. So now people are hearing this sound, and now they're networking with artists from California, artists from the South, anywhere, artists from New York. So it just sounds like it's expanding, but it's really the same thing. It's the same sound.
I'm familiar with Esham and Awesome Dre just from being a crazy hip hop head.
Yeah, that's vintage hip hop.
And because I listen a lot, and you know, around when downloading went to the blogs and you could get whole albums from any time period, I did a lot of I dove in to where my money wouldn't let me afford to listen to all the hip hop before that. When it was free, I listened to everything, old and new. Who was the first Detroit artist to take it beyond them? Was it someone?
I'm gonna say Eminem, but I know people gonna throw rocks at me.
Right.
I'm gonna say Eminem. Eminem really, really did a lot for his city.
Because again, Dre and Esham were Detroit artists. They didn't really expand much outside of the state.
The borders. Yeah.
Right. And of course, you know, we all started hearing about him in the late '90s, and just thinking back, there was an explosion of like Midwest guys. It seemed like around that time, Midwest guys, maybe more underground, but the Midwest guys seemed, I think, to hit emotional levels that we hadn't heard in hip hop before. Do you agree? And why do you think Midwest guys touched on their? I mean, Eminem, Atmosphere. And not just, you know, other guys too, not just, those are just two on the top of my head, but were very emotional in their music, where I don't know that we've seen that level of emotion before.
I don't know. Because to say I know, I would have to know their upbringing.
Right.
Because, I mean, even with Kanye West being from the Midwest, you know, that's somebody that's wears his heart on his sleeve.
Right, very emotional.
So I don't know.
He took it to another level.
Yeah, he took it to another level. But I don't really know why. Because, I mean, I don't know. Do artists from the West Coast and the East Coast, are they emotional too?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so I don't.
Not
I really
in the
don't
same
know.
way. You know, when you think about, I mean, you think about the big one, Snoop Dogg. To me, Jay-Z didn't make a song cry until after Eminem was crying and screaming on the record.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's definitely, as far as the screaming, I don't remember anybody being. I
don't know. Because I want to say struggle, but that's not fair.
Maybe it was just a void that was in hip hop that was filled.
Yeah. But why that region took over that and they claim that and why they own that, I really don't know.
Right.
Because not everybody's doing it.
No.
You know, you hear,
sure.
In today's mainstream industry.
It's a big emotional party. It's a big,
not that many club breakers. It's just stuff to listen to when you're driving and you're sad. So I don't really know who's responsible for that.
Yeah. And some people would blame it on the drugs, maybe. I don't know. But how was life like for you? You know, nowadays, and mind you, I've never been to Detroit. I had family that lived in other parts of Ohio, which is not even anywhere close. But that's my only Midwest connection. How was it for you growing up in Detroit? Because all we hear is bombed out buildings, horror stories, GM left, and everybody's poor. I mean, you know, for lack of a better description, I mean, we went through the recession. You could buy there was word you could buy houses for $20 and shit. You know, like we hear all these kind of. That's really all we've heard. You know, it seems like it's like the downtrodden side of Detroit, and then Eminem's successes. What's life like in between those two extremes? What was life like for you growing up?
There's a TV show coming out called BMF.
Okay.
You'll understand. I hope. I don't know what 50 is planning or anything like that, but you know the people that, you know, started BMF is from Southwest Detroit.
Okay.
So I didn't grow up. I don't have any stories to tell about growing up and struggling, and I was pretty well taken care of.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because we don't want to think it's all struggle for everybody.
I want to say that like everybody coming from Detroit is not struggling, but to say that and then say the BMF thing is just so much opportunity that people of Detroit have. We take advantage of the opportunities that's presented to us. We hustle a little different.
Definitely.
Yeah, we hustle a little different, and
you support Detroit more than most.
Yeah,
Detroit,
it's coincidentally I'm wearing this Detroit shirt, but
Detroit people seem to support Detroit people more than other. You know, New Yorkers are quick to shit on other New Yorkers. Virginia's known as a state that hates itself, kind of. So you know, I appreciate that Detroit stands with Detroit
always, and that you can just whisper you from, and that's why a lot of people that's not from Detroit will say they're from Detroit, because that automatically gives somebody a pass, because it's Southfield. Southfield is where Big Sean is from, but he's going to say Detroit.
Sure.
And we can get away with that because not even the Detroit Pistons played in Detroit for a very long time. They just recently moved to Detroit.
Sure.
They're playing Auburn Hills. You know,
well, in Richmond, I'm wondering if Detroit is like this. In Richmond, they never expanded the city. There was at a point they wanted to connect the counties and the cities and make Richmond big.
Yeah.
But that was fought for whatever reason. We won't get into the details. So Richmond stayed somewhat a small city limits, and the counties around them fought to be separate from Richmond, to stay separate from Richmond, which hindered its growth. Because Richmond could have been bigger, like, you know, the counties surrounding Richmond could have been like boroughs of New York. You know, it could have been a bigger deal, and it could have. But is Detroit like that? Is the city of Detroit very small, and then there's the suburbs?
No, Detroit is huge, man.
Detroit's huge.
Detroit's a big city.
Right. Okay.
It's not as big as LA. I'll be lying like that, but you know how LA
is spread out though, right?
It is, and when you speak of California, the first thing that's gonna come out of people's mouth is LA. That's what it is for Michigan. You're not gonna really hear people say too many other cities except for Detroit is that landmark city for that state.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a lot of people attach themselves to it, because you know we got the Upper Peninsula and the Lower Peninsula.
Okay.
Somebody can be from the Upper Peninsula that has never seen Detroit, but when they go traveling, people ask where you're from. They're going to say Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, they're just going to say that.
What was your inspiration to start DJing way back when in Detroit?
Shoot, Wax Tax and Dre is a DJ that was on the Traffic Jam. So every Friday, Monday through Friday,
we had similar shows like that in town.
And Clue, DJ Clue.
Okay.
I got my inspirations from New York.
Okay.
A lot of my inspirations, my favorite artists from New York. My first album is from New York, Biggie. So I'm New York, but Detroit is, that's just where I'm from.
Clue was huge in Richmond. He was big because he had the exclusives.
Yeah.
Not so much on the DJ skill. He got criticized for his DJ skill.
Believe it or not, I've never heard Clue DJ, but I damn sure had the professional album when it came out in '98.
Right.
So I know.
I was fortunate enough to hear one of his early mixtapes, and there was a time when he attempted to scratch and mix, and he went to just playing exclusives.
Yeah.
So that's it. But you got to, he was in a city where, DJ Scratch, he was in a city where hard to keep up with skills, so he found his own lane.
And that's what I'm saying. He definitely found his niche.
He made a lot of money in Richmond. People love to go to a Clue. Clue would come to Richmond regularly and make big money. How old were you when you started? This is a struggle for DJs of our age. How did you get your first 1200s? Did you ever get 1200s?
Yeah, I had 1200s. My granddad bought them for me I was 14.
Well, I love your granddad.
Hey, I do too. Yeah, I said I had one of them, and
because that's a big ticket for a 14-year-old.
It's a big ticket. He
Especially if they were new.
Technique 1200s with a Pioneer mixer.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's a great big ticket then. If he bought the whole package, I appreciate that. Shout out to your granddad.
Yeah, for sure. Like I would never forget that. And
did God bless him? I hope he's still alive.
No, he passed away.
Did he get to see you begin making money and become fluent at DJing?
I DJ'd my 8th grade graduation. I DJ'd my high school prom.
That's a big deal.
So he saw me moving. But he didn't see me, make money off of it.
Right. Well, at least he saw you going in the right direction.
Yeah. He saw the seeds. He planted grow.
Right.
I'll say that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like you just had him in the corner. You were.
No, I was on.
You were
No,
on.
yeah, I was on. I remember I had a DMX album. And I had, you had doubles with records.
Yeah.
I was in the basement every day after school, just spinning those until it grew.
Sure.
And then I got a part of the record pool when I started working for the radio station, so that helped. But yeah, I'm record. I just don't like carrying them now. Like where can you put your turntables? So I just don't carry them. I got them.
Yeah, I don't. I still bring my turntables out to shows and use phase and everything. I would never carry records again unless I absolutely
No, that's
had
over
to.
with. How many times? How late did we get home carrying records?
It was such a pain, and Yeah, I don't know. I don't reminisce. Everywhere I DJ that had
You don't
steps.
reminisce.
Everywhere, whether I was going downstairs or upstairs,
yeah.
everywhere I DJ that has steps. You
Yeah.
never just walk straight in
Nope.
with 5 crates,
Nope.
big crates of records.
Yeah.
So you started DJing on the radio early in Detroit, it sounds like?
I was 16 years old on commercial radio.
Wow, that's incredible. How did that happen? Tell us that story.
Well, I was a big DJ where I'm from.
Okay.
So where I was from, the person that inspired me to DJ Rex, Hex, and Dre is where I'm from too. So it was just like this kid, DJ Pest.
You became kind of the protege, and they introduced you into it. Yeah. Man,
and
that's awesome.
I did that. I had a free ride in college, and I actually dropped out of college, I think 3 weeks in, because the radio station took me from an intern and actually hired me in.
So you dropped out of college to take a job in radio.
Yeah.
How was that discussion with the folks?
I hit it from my mom knows now, 35 years old. But I had hit it from my mom.
How long could you hide that you're not going to college anymore?
Well, so I went to school and I had TV production in high school.
Uh-huh.
So when I went to college, I immediately went back to my high school and was like, yo, I need credits. Let me be a substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to mention that. Well, I can say it now, but yeah, I finessed the high school and hiring me into being a substitute teacher. So I still became a substitute teacher. I had dropped out of college. And then as time went along, I started letting the truth unveil itself.
Sure.
So yeah, that's how it happened. I never called. My mom was like, "Hey, mom, I'm not in school."
She
never
just
did
figured
that.
it out.
She figured it out. Yeah.
But you had several jobs by the time she figured it out. So
Yeah,
it didn't
it's
hurt
not,
so
yeah, it's
bad.
not. And I had a job in what I was going for.
Right.
So
right.
it canceled one out. You know.
Well,
So
that's
I got
cool.
away. I got away
That's
with
cool.
murder. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you did. You got away with something. There was a few finesse points in that last paragraph.
I feel horrible. Like I feel horrible in my 20s. Like I was never able. You know, even now I'm like, dang, I should go back to school and get the certificate that I went for originally, but I just don't have time to do it.
How long did you work as a substitute teacher with no
I would say 2 years.
credentials at all? They didn't care?
I wasn't.
I thought you had to have some kind of degree to
I wasn't
teach.
grading. You do, and I
Okay.
wasn't grading. I was just sitting. I was interning, so
Okay.
it was just like
All
I was
right.
sitting in.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Helping with the hallway monitoring and stuff like that. No, I wasn't giving out exams and passing people. No, I wasn't doing that. No.
I bet there are substitute teachers working right now that that have fudged their credentials.
Yeah, and I don't want. Yeah, and I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want for the people that's busting their butt. I don't want to say you could just finesse them and so that's
especially
why,
in Phoenix. I think you could just have a nice smile and become a teacher out here.
All you have to do is make sure you not.
They're looking for teachers.
I don't even know what you got to do out here. It's easy to get a job in Phoenix.
Right.
It
is easy to get a job in Phoenix. What being introduced to commercial radio, I always had an aversion to commercial radio because commercial radio in my city was always very controlled. It didn't sound like there was any freedom at all. But you went straight into commercial radio, and it sounds like a good situation. What kept you from getting involved in commercial radio when you moved here?
Because I didn't like commercial radio when I was there.
Oh, you never liked it.
Yeah, when you DJ on air, I know about Detroit. Well, I know about commercial radio. When you DJ on air as an on-air talent, you have your records you got to play. You have to play those records.
Yeah.
That's why when people say things about Phoenix radio is so bad, it's like, fam, all of it is kind of
They don't
tainted.
have a right.
Yeah, they don't have a choice. We have meetings on Mondays. These are the 20 records we're going to play every time we're on air, and that's that. It's good that we have these outlets now.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they can expand that. But commercial radio is commercial radio, and it's going to be that until it dies.
Right. I
So
agree.
I didn't like it one bit.
I think it may be a little more out of step here than in other cities, but it's still.
You talking about and keeping up with like what's going on in the community?
Well, yeah, there's been some complaints. Mike Terrell led a charge that at one point they didn't have anybody African American and or black working during the day. There was some points brought up about that. And they were kind of pressured to hire someone. People didn't like Jules, if you're familiar with Jules.
I know about that whole.
There was a huge problem with Jules in the local community, and the way they kind of talked about independent, I don't like to call it local, but the way they talked about independent artists, it seemed like they were somewhat out of touch with the community.
Yeah.
And
but I think they all are.
I agree with you. I just think in other states, maybe they fake it a little better, or maybe they present it a little better.
They do more for the community.
Yeah.
Phoenix is a state. Phoenix is a city. Because I don't know about how it is in Tucson, but Phoenix is a city where they are so open with not giving a damn. Like other radio stations do.
I agree. Right.
Other radio stations do.
That's a good way to put it.
things.
They're open with not giving a damn.
They're open, and you just have the choice. Because that's what I'm trying to say. I moved here, and you already know I had my press kit and everything
Yeah.
to these radio
I'm sure.
stations.
Yeah.
All three of the ones that you know, commercial radio stations.
Right.
And they all gave me the runaround. And you know, I'm not prejudiced or anything like that, but I do find it strange that they don't have black people talking about hip hop. You know.
Yeah.
But
on some level, I mean, and you know, hip hop is a big game, and I wouldn't even say it's necessary to have someone black talking about hip hop. But when your station is what you call urban, or playing predominantly, if not, you know, most of it is all black music. But when you're focusing on black music, maybe
you need a black representation.
Maybe they don't feel like they have to sell to black communities because the black community is a bit smaller here, definitely than in Detroit and Richmond. So maybe there hadn't been enough pressure put on them to follow up in the community, or they just feel like they don't have to. For whatever reason.
You're right. They can do whatever they want to.
At the end of the day,
but stop playing our music if you don't need it as a selling point.
I think. Well, I enjoy it because I think that them being out of touch leads more advance and more credence to people like me and you.
For sure. And that's why I don't that's why I personally don't complain.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I agree with that 100%.
Right. And I just can't see it's just such a big mechanism to be involved. I've heard people throw numbers like, you know, 100,000 to get started, 200,000 to make a song work. And just big numbers of money that has to go into the machine to
Phoenix
to even play that game with the machine, as far as commercial radio or in general anywhere.
It's been like that. I've seen people get let go of because of payola. It's such a broken system, and it's so unfortunate. And I wish these commercial radio stations out here in Phoenix would do more than just a Sunday show at 7 with playing people that they don't even. That's minute. Like, that's not even a big thing. You know, they already know who they're going to play. They're already plugging who they work with outside of the radio station. Like, there's so much room to fix that, and no one wants to fix it. So it's good that me, you, and, you know, everybody else involved in the internet.
Sure. LMG, shout out to LMG, shout out to U-Choice, Respect
U-Choice, Support District Radio, like anybody
all those people, good friends
anybody
of mine,
that's doing what they can to make sure artists get heard, I'm with it. You know, especially since Phoenix is not, I don't think it's too many artists that's from Phoenix out here in Phoenix right now. You know, we hold a large
it's definitely a hodgepodge, a collection of the country. I tell people all the time, I've met more different kinds of Americans in just the 3 years I've been here than I did my whole life on the East Coast.
I agree.
Because people move west, they don't move east, it seems like. The East Coasters move up and down the coast or either move west, but most people from the Midwest or West do not move east for whatever the weather, mainly, I guess. I don't know. Where do you get your work ethic from? You have an extreme work ethic. Now, I know where I get mine from. I'm curious, where do you get yours from? You work so hard. You complain a little about it, but that's okay because you work so hard.
I think in complaining, like explaining my reason for complaining, it'll help me explain where I get my work ethic from.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I complain because I have the same 24 hours as the next person.
That's right.
So I really don't do too well with excuses of any sort. And my work ethic comes from not wanting, I want to say maybe to prove to people that things can be done. So when I do a music video, that's why I try to get the music video done in a day. I think that's just my own personal accomplishment that I have to fulfill. Even when I do events, I get so frustrated when I'm having an event. I can't say because I'm gonna call somebody out, but I'll have.
Feel free, please. It'll help the show.
I'm trying to.
I'm trying
to watch that.
Okay.
But we'll have an event and I don't get the recap video for 2 weeks. And I tell myself and I tell the people that we involve ourselves with in that nature that, yo, I want this stuff to be like ESPN. Could you imagine a basketball game happening?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, could you imagine a basketball game happening yesterday and 2 weeks later they drop the highlights? No, we need those tomorrow. So that's what I got to get up and get this done because I have to do this, I have to do that. And in doing that, there are other people seeing that, the ones that will pay me, and that's how the business is expanding.
I see. They see your quality and your output, and they want that.
Yeah. So
is that why you've wound up doing most of these things yourself?
I started doing photography because I got frustrated with a photographer when I was managing an artist back home. I started doing videos for the same reason. I started doing graphic design for the same reason. All I want to do is DJ. And
now you make money at all of those, though.
Yeah. Now I found a way to turn those all into different business things, you know, business opportunities and ventures and stuff like that. I'm even working on a business right now that I'm getting ready. 2 weeks is a whole nother thing.
Awesome.
You know?
Incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm inspired by your drive and your work ethic. I could be wrong, but this is your 9 to 5. This is your career.
Yeah, when I moved out here, the story would never change. When I moved out here, I didn't have nothing. You know, I didn't have anything. So I had to go get a job ASAP. I worked. I was doing wiring for Cox and CenturyLink. Mm-hmm. And one day, my boss, I was late.
Pardon me. Fuck Cox, by the way. But go ahead.
For sure.
That's on mama.
Yeah.
No,
I was late for work, and I remember my boss asked me. He was like, "What's more important, the music or or this?" And I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'll holler at you."
Yeah, don't you put it on the table.
Yeah,
I understand
you put on the table, and
yeah.
but when I did quit, he did wish me the best of luck. And that person, runs $1 million company because he has contracts with all those buildings that's over there being built over there in downtown.
Yeah,
I was in when they was just wood, so he got money.
Okay,
but to see that he still checks up on me and makes sure that I'm still doing what I said I was going to do, that makes me feel good. But yeah, I've been just doing this since 2016.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a huge achievement that a lot of artists want to get to, but a lot don't.
Yeah, and I made a status last night, and I sat down. I don't know if you've seen it, but I sat down and was like, damn, if I post this, I'm going to cause so much of an uproar. But that's where my frustration comes. I don't really think people can call themselves an artist. You can say you're an artist, but you can't say you get money if you go to work. You can't tell me you get money in doing this and you still have to go to work.
Right.
Same thing with anything. DJs, anything. You can't tell me you're the top DJ of the city, but you can't talk to me until you get off work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. We all had to, get to that point.
It's levels to everything.
But watch how you speaking and stuff like that, because you putting out this weird wrong message. You know what I'm saying? That the people that know, because they already accomplished what you're trying to accomplish, they're low key laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story.
Yeah. Is there have you come across any? You seem to be such a nice gentleman. This is our first time we've met, but this is our first time chopping it up. But everything you relay on social medias, the internet, is straight up and down good business, good guy. Have you had any problems?
We about to get to the smoke
Since you got to AZ. I'm a nice guy. People seem to agree. My biggest problems have been staying out of other people's problems, and trying to negotiate and be cool with everybody has been a little problematic. What trouble have you had with the AZ music scene since you become so active in it? Just any problem?
For one, dealing with so many people's ego is already something that's gonna make you have to take something to go to sleep. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good way to put it. I take something every night and go to sleep.
Yeah. Like that's just stressors. But in my view, I fall out with people that I don't want to say yes to no more.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say yes, it's all good. You say no, now people got a problem with you. So a lot of the beef that I have out, I wouldn't say beef, but a lot of, if I have a problem with somebody, it's because I didn't say yeah to something that they was asking me for that they wanted for free. Right. Yeah. Even with management, I mean, it goes up to management. It goes down to my weekly showcase. It's just always the same thing. Like,
right. Somebody trying to get something.
Somebody trying to get something for nothing. More. And that
you have to say no, then they have a problem.
I'm learning, man. I'm in therapy to learn how to say no. Like, that's how crazy.
That's very big of you. That's very big of you.
Oh yeah, I'm open. Yeah.
To be in therapy to learn to say no. Some people just
If I don't answer your phone call and your message on Tuesday, it's because I am in therapy. And like I need that for myself.
I got you. I feel that. Yeah, I could use, after a few years in this hip hop game, everybody probably needs some therapy.
Yeah.
Do you miss, as we all do you miss playing live events? You've been doing some live events.
Yeah, I never stopped. So yeah, I don't.
You never stopped. You never were forced to stop.
We are on the cusp of the anniversary. I think if not tomorrow, maybe the 17th is when Arizona, we had to be done by
something like
12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So March, April, by May, we was already planning Sipping Bowl.
Yeah.
Then Sipping Bowl happened in June, and I've been doing everything. Even the New Year's Eve party we threw had 700 people in it. So I haven't stopped.
You had a 700 people New Year's Eve party? Can we say that on air? Can we say that? Are we saying
it's
that?
all good because the way I went about it, the way we went about it, is nothing that can stop it.
Okay.
See,
because there's been some trouble in the city with certain places getting shut
but
down.
You can't shut down an athletic venue.
Oh.
So Sipping Bowl, That's athletic.
Okay.
Skating is athletic.
Oh, you found that you don't have to give the matrix. You found that.
Well, we open now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
it
now
don't matter anymore.
If
Yeah,
we ever face another pandemic, God bless us. But you know, it's all said and done. But that's how we was able to weed through, you know, doing these things.
So
because
they couldn't shut down. It blows my mind. I didn't hear about that. We almost over here at Respect the Underground. We almost went the protest church angle. We were gonna get somebody in the office here ordained, and we were gonna start holding service once a week.
I respect anybody who was afraid. I respect anybody. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I've lost people from COVID.
Sure.
I've had COVID and thought I was dying in June.
Wow.
You know, so it's a lot. It's a lot of. I have to walk on thin ice when I say what I have to say, but with you knowing, I just said it. This was my 9 to 5.
Right.
So I had to find a way
You had to find a way to keep things.
Yeah, I had to find a way. I didn't know what I was going to do if I didn't find a way.
Understood. Well, I'm glad we made it through that now, and things. It looks like we're going with herd immunity to me, or the vaccine, however you look at it.
Everybody has these. It's so many different opinions.
It's a lot. I stay out of it for the most part.
I try. I'm learning.
Do you feel the need to get the vaccine since you've had the virus? For sure. You know you've had it.
I remember when I had it. I didn't do anything for the 14-day period I was supposed to. After that, I was scared. But now I don't think I can get it again. I've been around. If you want to do the math of just the occupancy of people I've been around since June, I've been around over 9,000 people.
Wow.
And I haven't got COVID yet. So I don't know, like I don't want to, but I don't want to say, hey, my method works for you, or you go out and try.
Well, you don't. It's the kind of thing to me. It's like a motorcycle or a ladder. You don't want to mock it. Because then it'll smack you around.
It'll disrespect you.
I have never mocked it. I have never laughed or joked about it. I know it's very serious. Fortunately, my family has been blessed. And my East Coast family, it ran through them. But out here on the West Coast, we have not had it. My son has consistently gone to playgrounds almost every day. And he sleeps with us every night. And kids, they touch everything.
They're the ones that carry it.
So, we've been blessed, lucky, fortunate, however you want to say, that we have not caught it. And fortunately, hopefully, we're moving out of it so we can get back to having live events. The rest of us can get back to having live events.
But I mean, I've seen you DJing.
We've done things. We've had virtual events, and I've been to some recordings. Everybody. That first month or so,
it was scary, bro.
We were all shocked as shit and doing strange things, trying to figure this thing out, how to keep it moving. I tried to do an online concert, and before we even figured out the technology,
that was a struggle in itself.
It was all of it was a struggle, and we were all felt very trapped. I mean, it lightened up quickly in Arizona. I haven't felt the way I felt that first month in a long time. I don't, but I do remember thinking that, like, wow, like, how are we gonna figure this out? And but people that are on top of their grind, people that are moving, and obviously people that have the Detroit hustle find a way to keep it moving. Well, you have all these events, you have all these. Are you looking once things open back up fully as they are now? I imagine there's only more for you to do. Are you looking towards being in a position to hire people? Is this going to remain a one-man operation? Do you just subcontract out help when you need it? What goes on in the Djpest empire? What's on the near future?
That's the hardest question you've asked me.
Okay.
Yes, I want to expand. Yes, I want to hire a staff of people, but I think I have to surround myself with a different crowd. I think I attract a crowd that's not healthy. Like not really good for me to be around. So I wait a minute.
Let me catch that. You said you attract, as far as people you would hire, a bank of people you would hire from.
I would hire people that I'm around.
Right. So
I like looking out for the people that I'm surrounded by.
Sure.
But that's not always good for business.
Not always the best people to hire.
Yeah, it's not the best people. It's good to be friends with, but it's not good to
I agree.
Work with.
Sure.
And I've been doing this since I was 14 years old. I mean, I had a DBA, I think, when I was 17.
Wow.
So I've been doing business for a very long time. And I just didn't learn until maybe last year that it ain't all good to have people around you.
Yeah.
And that I'm really a loner, at this point.
Right.
And I don't like when somebody that's around me that wants to work with me or for me can't work as fast or as much as me.
It does get frustrating.
That'll kill me today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to. And what I'm about to start, I need to.
Right.
There's no way I can.
There's always new plans in the works. It sounds like you decided to manage artists at a certain point. What?
I've been managing artists since I was 18.
Oh, so you've been managing artists the whole time as well.
What made me manage the artists out here is a different, because when I moved out here, I said I wasn't gonna
You
do
didn't have
anything.
anything, and okay, you said you moved out here. It was kind of like a fresh start. You didn't have anything to start with. What made you want to manage artists in the Valley? The lack of proper management, maybe.
Not the lack of proper management, but just the lack of them not being aware of what they can achieve and what they can receive from the achievement. Like, that was frustrating me a lot. I saw a lot of artists just moving out here and they don't have any goal.
At one time, it seemed like you had an all female roster.
And that was something, to talk about that, because I got really frustrated with how the females are being treated.
Okay, so that was on purpose. That was
because I said I'll never manage another man again.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that conversation with my people, and it was like, never another man.
You're tired of the men. What goes wrong with managing them? Well, to me, managing anybody is too much ordeal for me personally. You have to, a lot of times, put them in front of your life and work hard for other people.
Women or men?
Both.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just as a manager.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's a lot of work, and the minute sometimes they get successful, they want to act like they did it all on their own
they forget
and let you go.
Yeah.
So the decision to manage anybody is tough for me. What made you say I will not manage another man?
Two street people with different views. It just was.
Just
it don't work out.
The bullheadedness enough.
Like how I would approach a man when the things ain't going my way that I'm not related to or something like that is a different approach than how I'm approaching a woman.
Oh, sure.
I would approach a woman with a whole bunch of I'm not doing nothing crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it's like I would approach a woman just so much easier than I can approach a man.
I imagine your wife has to be relatively understanding when you set off to manage 3 or 4 women.
When I manage the
because
women,
management is not intimate. Maybe it's not the best word, but it's a close relationship.
It's a very close relationship. Yeah.
My wife would not take that well. Just personally,
a lot of people put me to the side and say, how are you doing this, or whatever. But my wife knows the people I manage, the women I manage.
Right.
But I end up, learning that women are harder to manage than men. I didn't know that.
As a man, I would have guessed that, but
I wasn't really working with women.
That may be my gender bias.
Maybe, but I'm with you though. Like now you are gender biased, and I'm on your side. I was like, women are very hard to manage. It's so much that comes with managing a woman versus a man. Even video shoot.
Well, it's just so much more goes into a female artist. I've always heard that, the hairstylings.
I didn't know that before. I was like, because even with Just the Empress as an example, I met Just the Empress. She had 3 songs, like just 3, and I think she recorded them on her phone. If I'm right.
Right. Well, she's come a long way since.
And I'm like, you can't be just doing this. Can't be it. There's more. You know what I'm saying? So I talked her into releasing her first EP. And we worked and we worked and we worked, and she's in Atlanta now. But in the midst of that, I kind of got lost because people wanted what Just was getting.
Right.
So now, can you manage me? Can you manage me? Sure. Can you do what you're doing for Just? I didn't understand that at the moment, so I'm just adding to the team. You get an agreement. You get an agreement. Right. And it wasn't like if I wasn't moving as fast for them as I was for Just, people was having a problem with that.
Sure.
So that's when I started noticing like, oh. Then I stopped. And then Scrooge Boy walked up to me at an event, and he had just lost his mother, and tough. he really needed somebody just to make sure that they was gonna stay on, stay on him, and make sure that they moving. So then it became him, and then I kind of started it back up. I still have good relationships. I'm not bad blood really with anybody, but I started it back up as saying like it's a music group. This is who I'm managing, and now you see like a kind of a new, different roster.
Okay.
So it's him. I don't manage Big Doobie. Me and Big Doobie just really have one of the best working relationships that I've probably ever will have. You know what I'm saying? Like we both, without saying, want the same thing. So he called me, I'm there, and vice versa. So that's what that is. And I got another artist that I'm working close with named Sun. So yeah,
I'm familiar with Sun. You working with Sun?
Yeah. Okay. I just started managing maybe a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
So you've turned the tide on this working with dudes thing.
Oh yeah. Now I'm just working with. It's still hungry. I still want to work with who's hungry, you know. But yeah, now it's just kind of like, if you hungry, I want to work with you, and I don't want it to stop. I don't have a cap.
Right.
I want to really start like a management group.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm really working on right now.
Well, as you get them, you know, is it kind of like as you get the plates spinning, it's easier to spin the plates? I mean, if you got a certain amount spinning as artists, once you start doing for one artist, it's maybe easier to correlate
easier.
And do for the others as well.
I think I just wasn't as fortunate. Well, nobody was fortunate. Last year just kind of put a bad taste on this whole thing. Mm-hmm. So I had some people that signed during the pandemic. And when they couldn't do things during the pandemic, it more so felt like it was my fault.
Sure.
You
know,
know,
the manager always catches the blame.
Yeah. So now that the pandemic is somewhat coming to a close and things are starting to open back up, I am able to provide everybody with the same things. Like, I do this show here, you there. I do this show there, you there. So with me doing these comedy shows, I found a way to get them to slide these artists in too. So I'm doing comedy shows at Tempe Improv, stand up live, but you gotta bring an artist. I gotta let them do 2 songs. It was 1. Now it's 2 artists. Okay. Now it's like we're gonna do half comedians, half artists. Now we out in Las Vegas in next month. You know, it's things that we planning in Texas. So it all worked, you know, for the better. Yeah. But it was a process. Things had to have happened to make me be able to do the things I'm doing right now. And that's dealing with the women or dealing with, you know, a particular person or something like that. I don't think if I did this stuff maybe a year ago, it would all be all over the place. It wouldn't even worked out. Yeah, but it's working out good now because of decisions and what I tried already. Yeah, if that makes sense.
No, it's a learning process. It sounds like you're. It's a huge endeavor to take up. So I respect you for taking it on. But it seems like you're moving correctly, and I know the artists love it because certain artists need management. More than others. Some definitely need management. And
it's funny because it's like even the showcase thing is kind of throwing me for a loop right now. You know, I don't really personally. I've sat with a lot of promoters. I don't like how all of a sudden the club promoters, you know, the ones that didn't give a damn about artists out here, are all of a sudden doing showcases.
Right. Because it's money to be made, and maybe the club business is hurting.
Yeah, we know what it is. Yeah. But for us to know what it is, that's why it's so hurtful to see it like happening, you know. Yeah. So now a lot of artists in the community, they're going to, you know, all these different outlets, and it's just like, fam, these outlets aren't for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting used, and I need you to understand that you're getting used. Rather you using them and, you know, in return, I wish you would make that more open, but it's just like it's too much hopping. It's too much. Yeah. It's too much going on right now, you know. So I don't know how to really. Yeah.
I think that's a part of the shakeup. Did you ever, when you were having these events, did it ever concern you that someone might get sick?
Oh, for sure.
Did you sleep with that? Was that hard to deal with? Just in the back of your mind? Oh, therapy.
That's what I talked about.
Does your therapist tell you that these people made their own decision to come to your event and you're really not responsible? I'm not
going to put her on the line. But yeah.
Something like that. Huh? My sister's a therapist. I know a little of the game. Shout out to her. Well, man, it's been great talking to you. I've got a couple of, at least one more other artist I've got to talk to before I get out of here and go to Tucson tonight. I saw that, yeah. I've got an event in Tucson with 867, so it'll be my first time doing a gig in Tucson tonight. What do you think, the Valley, the Phoenix music scene is missing? And I want to really soak up what you're saying, because you know you've had experience in other cities. You've worked in commercial radio for a long time. You've managed artists. What is the Phoenix music scene missing? It is missing camaraderie. Okay. It's really hard to support a city you're not from. I mean, we can throw on the Phoenix Suns hat, we can do all this stuff and act like we supporting it, but just imagine me saying that we about to go show, me and you, well, we're different. Let's just say we talking to 2 other people. Let's go show love to somebody that's from Levine and forget about the people that's from where you from, where I'm from. Right. Now you add 100 people that's not from here into that same conversation. Everybody's for themselves. Somebody, whether it be you, me, John, Blaze, some DJ is going to have to get everybody's attention and say, look, this is who we're all supporting, and when we get this person out, everybody else is next. Right. We got to get that first person out yet. And that's no disrespect to anybody that's in this industry, that's from Phoenix, that's
got 1 million views on the video, because I know there are people that have made it out of Phoenix, per se, but to take care of the community as a whole, we have to do something. We have to link up and do something more that can get us out, get the artists out faster. Record pool, DJ groups, something, and then just go. We gotta believe in somebody and just like shoot them to the moon.
Why do you shout to Yog and the Factory? They're getting ready to drop Charlie Goo, and they signed with Sony Orchard. And as big a deal as I think it is, it's really not getting that much reaction in the city. Do you think we're still in this situation?
Because there's too many people for us not from here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Much respect to Yog.
Charlie's a Detroit native.
Everybody, to Charlie too. But it's just so hard. You gotta think, so many people moved here to make it. So when we hear that we moved here to make it and somebody's making it before us, not Detroit, this ain't got nothing. I just talking about somebody.
Just everybody in general. I got you. Yeah.
Somebody gonna feel a way about that.
Sure.
You can act like, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, it's so good. But it's like when you in your bed, you tight about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it should have been me or something
that
like that.
Competitive spirit, the
it's
ego,
a competitive spirit.
the insecurity, the hatred, all that creeps in.
Like even the battles, like the battle, it's a battle going on right now that I don't want to plug, but it's like even that's going.
You don't want to plug the battles.
It's going the wrong way. Like that's not progressive. That's setting us back. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that's getting attention is just not to me that's just not how you gonna do it. You know, like that's not gonna really work.
Is that one of the problems in Phoenix, that the fuckery gets more attention than the real moves?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, like I saw I'm frustrated about Bank Mills. Like he put that video up of that fight outside of that club.
There's been a backlash. A lot of people enjoyed seeing Arizona in the national scene, and there's been a backlash where a lot of people don't think it's a good look and want him to take it down. Even I've heard.
I would personally want him to take it down. You know what I'm saying? Not because it was the wrong thing to do, but it's like, fam, you giving them too much. They gonna do that for your video, but they're gonna do that for that, but they won't do that for your video.
Right.
You could have dropped a music video right on top of that on your Facebook feed.
Yeah.
And if it would have got the same numbers as that fight video, I would have been very happy about that. But it won't, and it don't.
Right.
So like,
that's true.
Push the stuff that's gonna make us make money. Like that ain't gonna, And that's not to say just his, situation specifically is what I'm talking about. It's just it's like we promote bullshit out here. You know what I'm saying? And we don't really promote the things that can really help us in a way that.
Do you have any understanding of why, other than just basic human nature, that like you could point to you could point to the rise of COE Yante's last couple singles, which I think are incredible and nationwide ready. And you could talk about you could talk about a lot of the artists from out here and certain moves they're making, but what we know for sure is that Zeus threw up at a battle, or there was a big fight out in Scottsdale, or the fuckery that goes on with the latest of the battles. And personally, I've been in a couple of those fuckery battles. And they're fun and they're entertaining and people love. I mean, TMZ is more popular than the nightly news. Is that's why I think, is it just human nature that we're fighting, or is it something specific about Phoenix? Because
I think it's Phoenix, because I don't know, because I don't stay in Atlanta, Georgia.
Where I come from in Richmond, there was nowhere near as much internet fuckery. And I don't know if it was because it was a smaller city,
what I was about to say.
And people didn't fuck with each other the same way, because it was it was very easy to ride 30 minutes away and show up.
But where you're from, how many people are not from there?
Oh, it's very. You grew up there. It's not the same way as here.
Where I'm from, it's not. It's too many people here that's not from here. So we don't care. Unfortunately, we don't care about the outcome. We just care about what we see. It's funny to me now.
Yeah.
You notice how I've been talking about these things. I won't even say names or anything like that. I can't promote what don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm not getting benefit off of it. No disrespect, but it's just like we have to promote something that we gonna benefit from.
Right.
So I don't think it's
something that's real. A fight is not that kind of fight is not a product. It's not an MP3. It's not a T-shirt.
Like that's one of the people that was out there fighting was an artist that I work with. Not work with, like we break bread together, but it's like I know you and you out here with your titties out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fighting over something.
Put away your titties, fam.
Yeah, and my man lost his venue. You know what I'm saying? My man was doing something, lost the venue because of it. But thank God he found another one. But it's just like we don't care about too much except ourselves. But it hurts everybody when we think so self-centered.
I agree.
So until we can get out of that shell and say we have to, the person I'm hanging with is who I want to win, then I'll win. Then we'll win. It's too many people I gotta win. I have to do it. Me, I gotta do it. And if it ain't gonna be me, then it ain't gonna be nobody.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. This is a red hot question, and then I'm gonna escort you out and wish you a good day.
Yeah.
Who is the single most ready to be nationwide artist in Phoenix right now? Male, female, whoever, child, man, woman, child, whoever.
That's so hard. The only reason I say it's so hard because I see so many every day.
Right. It's a lot. I enjoy the talent. I tell everybody I'm cool with mainstream hip hop, but I would rather just listen to Phoenix hip hop all day most of the time, other than my old school taste because I'm an old man. But I like the music that comes out of Phoenix as much or more than any nationwide music. If I said 2 or 3 names, would that help? Would that make it easy?
I'm going to say, I want to hear yours, but I'm going to say if Jay-Z or somebody called me and said who deserves it, I'll say that.
Is deserving it and being the one different though? Is that necessarily the same thing? Someone that deserves it, or someone that's ready?
Somebody that deserves it is no different to me because I feel like there's so many people that deserve it.
Okay, who would you? Don't let me get in the way. Who is? Go ahead.
It's Deli Every Day.
Deli Every Day. That's a name I hear a lot, so that's a good name.
Yeah, I've talked to Deli Every Day. I probably haven't had a conversation with him in 5 years, but I see him really, really, really applying pressure. Another person that I think is ready because they deserve it is Joseph Bills.
Okay, that's interesting.
So it's like it's people that I know are putting in a lot of work, and I swear, me saying that, I hope I'm not taking away from anybody that is putting a lot of work. Putting
right.
work.
Well, these are your opinions, your choices. It's not to disclaim or discredit anybody else. This is just who you would put your finger on if you had the magic touch.
Now, radio, like who's ready commercial, like who's ready. It's just so many. Big Doobie, to me, just dropped one of the hottest singles. You know what I'm saying? With the R&L joint. That's one of the hottest joints.
Yeah.
But it's just it's so many like that,
I agree. It's a lot of let's just leave it at that. It's a lot of artists.
But you got to get some of that smoke too. Who would you about to say?
Well, my choice has steadily been De La Prime since I heard his music and since I met him.
Yep.
I believe he's magic at the mystery. He still manages to create some mystery. I feel like his music is on point as a person, as an artist. I think he's got his head on and screwed on straight. And so that would be my wish. That would be my goal.
You said 2 though.
I said 2.
Yeah.
I said you could have 2 if you needed to.
All right.
I'll just tell you who I like. I like Bruce and I like Merkums.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Bruce?
I'm familiar with Bruce and Merkums.
Bruce to me has an old school hip hop masculine spirit that I believe is just needed in hip hop right now. And to hear him talk and to hear his music and to hear what he represents, I like him. I like him a lot. And these are just my favorites. I love everybody. There's a ton of artists, and whenever we start talking names, some people feel slighted. Please don't.
Yeah, don't. We DJs, man. We see so much. We hear so much. It's not.
Yeah, and I've always been a big fan of Preem, and everybody knows that. He's got merch. He's got his own language. I like his lane, and so that's who I would pick. I'm not as familiar with Merkums. I like him a lot. And there's some young guys I'm missing that I like as well. But enough of that talk. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I've had a lot of respect from you from the jump, and I've never found a reason to lose that respect. You're a hard-working man. I appreciate that. The work ethic is inspirational and motivational.
Thank you.
Whenever I'm laying around high, I look at your posts, and I'm like, man, I got to get up and make a flyer, make a video clip. I got to organize. I got to do something.
Yeah, and I'm really proud, just to say that I'm really proud of you. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I've seen you grow, you know what I'm saying? Like, I saw you land. I've seen you, look around and see what works for you, and this right here is really working for you.
It is. I appreciate
look forward
you saying
to every
that.
time.
Those words are what keep me going, so I appreciate that.
So, I just wanted to make sure.
Until I start making more than sweatshirts and weed, and when I start making money, until then, it's the compliments and the kind words people like that say that really keeps me going.
This whole platform is doing amazing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really proud of what you putting out and what you
thank you
doing
so
for the
much.
community.
I mean, I'm speechless. He shut up the old man for once in my life. Djpest, thank you so much for coming in. Tell the whole fam we say what up. I'm gonna try my best to get out to more of your venues.
And likewise,
I'm gonna try to get out to more events with you, with the wife and the children and the scrupulous amounts of marijuana consumed. It's hard for me sometimes.
Oh my goodness!
Thanks so much. I'm gonna put up this track and we'll get the next artist in. Thank you.
Yep.